Hello, one and all. My name is Chimp Guy. I am the Chimp Guy movie guy, founder of Chimp Guy Productions, the channel you're watching this on, and the founder of Monkey Movie Club, which is the club that I run where we watch movies. So here I am. I have not made Monkey Movie Club videos for a few weeks now, maybe a little over a month. And it's part in, I don't really know what I wanted to do with this show. I didn't know how I wanted the content I make to, come out. So I kind of started this podcast-esque thing where I talked for an hour, but it was like highly edited. I had graphics coming up all the time on the screen, which I'm not going to do. I may put up a picture when I need to show you something, but it took a lot of work. I was shooting multicam, 2 different angles. I was cutting back and forth constantly. It helped me. I was taking breaks in between segments and just editing them out. It was more like a show, and I was trying to be professional and clear with my thoughts and sentences, and not as open and free as a podcast. I was trying to hide the seams, as they say. I wanted everything to be very clean and, clean in the sense of I cursed, obviously. I'll curse right now. Crap. Fuck. But no, I was making it look very presentational and pleasing because I, thought that's what people wanted. I didn't think they'd want to just sit down and hear me ramble for an hour, with little preparation and editing, which, back to my point, I think this is more the direction I want to go with this show specifically because, to be honest, I wasn't, nobody was really viewing it anyway. I mean, my friends who care about me and are members of the Monkey Movie Club on Discord, where we submit the movies and watch them every week, they were watching and they were being very supportive. And if you ever watched any episode of Monkey Movie Club prior to this, I love you. And I appreciate everything you did. All the comments from my friends, Damon, Mason, James, Jordan, Emily, Mo, anybody who watched the show. That's everybody I can think of off the top of my head. And talked to me about it and commented and engaged. Robbie, I love you, Robbie. You know who you are. Thank you, each and every one of you. But yeah, I was putting so much work every week into this film criticism variety show where I had a very strict structure of watching 3 movies every week, and I talked about them, and I tried to trim all the fat off of anything I had to say and make it very clean and neat. And, it was a lot. It was a lot of work. And the graphics that I was throwing up on the TV and masking out the green screen and putting it all up there and cutting between the 2 angles, I was spending not too long editing, but I was spending maybe 4 or 5 hours processing the 4K footage, editing it, which I'm not shooting this in 4K. It's just too big a dang file, guys. And, I'm going to do minimal editing on this. I want to keep this, I want to be genuine. That's if I'm going to make content on the internet, if I'm going to make videos, if I'm going to talk about things I love, like movies, I want to be real. I want to be open. I want to talk about things, as real as I can to a camera. We're all performative up to some point, but yeah, I just want to be myself and share opinions with you guys and try and, I don't want to be performative and fake and presentational and whatever. And I feel like that's maybe what the show was becoming. And so I kind of want to take this more chill, relaxed vibe, podcast vibe. I think I'm going to start uploading this to podcasting platforms. to get it out in Spotify and Apple Podcasts just so you can listen to this in the car or something. I want to get a better mic. I want to invest in a better mic just so, you know, me talking is the focus. I was putting so much time and effort into the visuals, and a lot of people came up to me like, yeah, I didn't even really watch them. I just put it on and listened to it. So, you know, that's what I want to do. And you're going to see the seams. You're going to see me take little, you know, have little brain farts and stuff like that. But that's the real me, you know. And I kind of just want to get into it. I got a lot to talk about. I've been away for so long. And part of being real, I've got my little notes right here, and I'm not afraid to admit that, okay? So I did my little intro, my little welcome back. Again, if you're first-time listener or if you're a long-time listener, thank you so much. Just keep watching, liking, commenting, engage with me. You can follow me at It's Chimp Guy on Instagram or at Chimp Guy Productions on Instagram. Haven't done a lot with those handles yet. I'm not sure what, but I'm going to definitely post video updates on Chimp Guy Productions, and It's Chimp Guy's more of a more personal Instagram where I'm going to, you know, I've posted stories, just little fun personal stuff there. But yeah, guys, freaking Christmas just happened. Isn't that crazy? Freaking Christmas. I'll tell you, I have not felt the Christmas spirit for a few years as an adult. Like it's hard having the Christmas spirit as like a college student. The childlike experience of Glee and not being able to sleep the night before, that's for the kids. And as I was growing up and like going to college, working full time, paying my bills, like not being able to afford all the nicest presents I could for people, it was really hard. Last year, I spent a lot of money on family and friends because I had the means to, and I am way too generous with my money. And, you know, I want it to be a very special day for people. But I wasn't really feeling the spirit last year. Like Christmas came and went. I never like wanted to decorate or, you know, do all the classic Christmas traditions last year. I just was not feeling it. But this year was different. I don't know what got into me, but I was feeling festive as fuck, guys. I don't know what it is. Let me know if you felt it too, but this year felt different for me. It felt, I don't know, I just got that freaking, you know, my blood ran red and white like a candy cane. You know what I'm saying? I really was feeling festive, and I wanted to really put time and thought into gifts, and that's what I love. And I think that's maybe what I've realized as an adult. The Christmas spirit it's about giving. You know, we all say Thanksgiving is about giving, but guys, Thanksgiving, it should be called thanks eating, or thanks for the food that I'm eating because you cooked it. You know, it should be called, instead of Christmas, it should be called Give Gifts. Give Gifts Day. That's what Christmas should be called, because that's what it's about. Giving gifts as an adult that you have put time and effort into and you have thought about. I'm about to cry just talking about it, but that is the best thing ever. Seeing, and if they like it too, that's the best thing. If they don't like it, like, that's a punch to the gut. But I think people can tell when you put time and effort into things, you know? I think that's partly why Monkey Movie Club video podcasts I put so much effort into, because I was like, if people see this, they're going to know I put effort into it. But anyway, that's not Christmas. Let's talk about Christmas. I had a pretty fun gift idea for people close to me, and I was going to do it for everybody, but it took up so much time in between work and life that I could not do it for everybody. But I essentially made custom DVD covers of movies that I like photoshopped their faces onto, and on the back of it I wrote my note like you would in a card, but it's like I edited out the description of the movie, like the little blurb on the back, and that's where I put my note. I may throw up a picture of one that I made. I'm not going to show you the notes because the notes were really personal. But and then I put a gift card inside instead of a disc. Like, isn't that fun? Like, instead of a regular gift card holder, they now have like a DVD case. And dude, it was so painstaking. Like, finding the correct file size on photo, like a template for a DVD cover in Photoshop, and like setting up, like, here's the spine, here's the back, here's the front, and then having a scour for high resolution DVD covers of certain movies. And that took forever. And then the editing them themselves, like, taking people's faces out or taking their whole bodies out completely and putting somebody else. That took a long time. I think these cats are fighting behind me. But I was like so excited about the idea like over a month ago that I was like, I want to do this for everybody. And I made an Excel sheet of like, here's the name, here's the gift card I'm going to give them, and here's the movie that I'm going to edit of them. And dude, I only ended up editing and finishing about 6 or 7 of them. I made sure my immediate family, like my mom, dad, my siblings, I made sure they all got one. I made sure my girlfriend Emily got one. And then I was like pooped. I made one for my friend Jordan, but that's because I scoured my friends' like Facebook photos to see any photos of them that I could edit into a certain movie. And his was really easy to do. But yeah, I'm sorry to all my friends that I couldn't make those for. I had plans to. It just, man, the time really just fell through my fingers. But the look on people's faces of like, and I put them in real DVD cases, and they just lit up and laughed and had fun, and that means the world to me. That's what Christmas is about. Like, I wish I could do something like that for them every month, just like spend time really making something that shows like I'm thinking of you, I care about you. Here you are, and that's what Christmas is about. I just did my annual It's a Wonderful Life viewing. I try to watch that every year around Christmas time because it's a Christmas classic. And oh my goodness, man, it hits me harder and harder every year. Usually it's the ending that really gets me. This time, his relationship with Mary, I don't know why, but that really got to me. The scene of them when they're about to kiss for the first time on the phone with Sam Whiteheart or whatever, and they're just, oh my gosh, it's so good. And then him coming back home looking for his wife and kids after he's back from his little excursion with Clarence the Angel, and he's just, Jimmy Stewart is so damn good in that movie. He plays every part of George Bailey perfectly. Love it to death. I'm going to take a little drink here. Yeah. But that's an absolute must-watch every year. And I finally watched it on Christmas Day evening with my grandmother as I made a Christmas Lego set. And that was just beautiful. Loved it to death. Okay, so guys, I guess let's get into some holiday movies. I wanted to talk a little bit about holiday movies. Monkey Movie Club is a club that I host via Discord. I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to join. But essentially every week, the Monkey Movie Club members, I give them a theme. And this most recent theme was Reanimated Christmas. Essentially, it was a play on reanimation because I used Frosty the Snowman in the graphic. He becomes kind of reanimated. But I wanted to also reanimate that Christmas spirit, bring back the nostalgic childlike feeling of Christmas through Christmas animation, because we watched a lot of those as kids. And I feel like that kind of those kinds of films were what we watched as kids, and now we can kind of use that nostalgia to our benefit and get into the Christmas spirit. I don't know. That was the idea. And I added we do a feature film every week, and I added a new rule where if you submit a movie that's under 60 minutes, you can submit another one that's under 60 minutes. And the winner was Frosty the Snowman and Charlie Brown's Christmas. I think that's the name of it. I forget. But we watched those, and man, they're good movies. I don't watch Frosty every year like I used to. When I was a kid, I watched Frosty the Snowman every year, but not as an adult. It's very childlike. It's very short, like a children's Christmas special. Same with Charlie Brown. They're both under 30 minutes, I think. But it's good. It's a Rankin Bass movie, so it's good. I love the Rankin Bass movies. The thing I liked most about my Frosty watch this year was that there was a Blu-ray bonus feature documentary, kind of short documentary, interviewing famous directors and film historians about Rankin Bass, and it kind of just talked about Rankin Bass's impact on the animated world and stuff like that. And something fun I found out about the Rankin Bass movies is that the 3D ones were animated in Japan. They did all of the character design and writing and music in America, and then they outsourced the animation to this Japanese studio that then would collaborate with them on the designs, make the puppets, and then animate them. I thought that was interesting. I'd never heard that. They also recorded all the voices in Canada, so it was kind of a 3-country collaboration for all those movies. But Frosty, what's interesting about Frosty is that it was 2D animated, of course, here in America, I believe. And they did that 2D animation whenever the Japanese studio was busy. So, I saw one of the film historians that had interviewed Rankin and Bass. I think it was specifically Arthur Rankin Jr. They asked about the 2D versus the 3D, and they said sometimes it was when the Japanese studio was busy, so they couldn't do 3D, but other times it was just when they thought that 2D as a medium would fit the story better, would be able to tell the story better than 3D could, or vice versa, you know. And I think 2D fits Frosty very well. They later did put Frosty into the 3D world with, I think it was like Rudolph and Frosty's Happy New Year or some shit like that. So it was cool that the characters went in and out of 2D and 3D sometimes, like the same characters that Rankin and Bass made, because I don't believe there was a Frosty the Snowman movie before Frosty the Snowman. There was just the song. They did that with Rudolph. Like, Rudolph was a song that they then essentially added lore to and made a movie and kind of, just made a real story out of it. Like the freaking weird magician character in Frosty, he's not in the song. He's nothing to do with the song. Frosty traveling across the North Pole with this dying cold girl in his arms is not in the song. It's adding something. It's adding suspense. It's adding characters. But yeah, holidays though, non-Monkey Movie Club specific. That's another thing I want to do with these videos. I'm not really going to talk about the monkey movies of the week in these. I think this is more a general film podcast. I'm going to talk about them a little bit. I'm going to plug the club every once in a while, but I don't think the whole show needs to be about this. People don't really give a shit about Monkey Movie Club, I want to make this wider variety. I want people to approachable. I want people to be able to just jump in and listen, whenever they want. I want to talk about new movies that are coming out, because I go to the theater all the time, and the only person I talk about them with is my girlfriend. I just berate her about these movies. But yeah, holiday wise in general, I watch Elf every year. I mean, come on. It's not a perfect movie, but it's a perfect holiday movie in my opinion. The whole point of it is about believing, having Christmas spirit, and how that can help others around you. and just, being positive and loving and almost naive. We look so down on naivete and we judge those that are silly and naive. But Buddy the Elf, naive as he be, is like the happiest person in that movie. And it's just unfiltered joy through his naivete. I'm not saying being naive is good inherently. I'm just saying, like, being so self-aware and self-critical cannot be good, and just living in the moment, being present and caring about others around you is good. I don't know why I keep looking at this paper. It just keeps saying holiday movies. But yeah, I mentioned It's a Wonderful Life. I try to watch that every year. And I also watch Krampus every year pretty much because of Emily. Oh my God, she loves Krampus. I didn't really like it that much when I first watched it, but after my second viewing and a viewing of the special features talking about all the practical effect puppets and whatnot, I was like, okay, this shit actually kind of rocks. I ain't even gonna hate. It's pretty cool. It's pretty funny too. It's got some big names in it: Adam Scott, Toni Collette, David Koechner. Big names. But yeah, holiday movies. I keep looking at that. I'm kind of drawing a blank now on holiday movies. I guess that's Christmas movies. Kind of suck, dude. I mentioned this to the club earlier this month, but Christmas movies kind of suck. When you think of like what you watch around holiday seasons, I mostly compare it to Halloween, because Halloween, you can pretty much watch any horror movie on Halloween and it fits. And there are a lot of really good horror movies. But Christmas, dude, there's really just a handful of good Christmas movies, and there's a lot of bad Christmas movies. I guess that's in part to the kind of Hallmark system of just shitting out terrible, formulaic Christmas movies for the sake of like making money and content off this holiday. But yeah, I don't know. They're as a whole, Christmas movies are not great. I like some Christmas movies. I love the Rankin Bass Christmas movies. I like, I almost said Fred Claus. Fred Claus is okay, I guess. It's kind of dumb, but I like Elf. I like Klaus, the animated Netflix Christmas movie that came out a few years ago. But man, I don't love them as a genre. And I guess that's not really fair to compare it to Halloween, because Halloween gets all of horror. If anything is spooky and horrifies you, you can watch it on Halloween. Christmas doesn't get the same, gratitude. What's the fucking word? They don't get the same leeway as Halloween. It's like Christmas is about being happy and giving. Halloween is about being spooky. There's a lot of movies about being spooky. You watch any of them on Halloween, you're good. Christmas being about, being happy and kind and giving. You can't watch any movie about being kind or happy or giving on Christmas and call it a Christmas movie. Like, it's got to have Christmas lights. It's got to have red and green. It's got to have garland. It's got to have fireplaces and cookies and cozy feels. Oh, Gremlins, dude. I watch freaking Gremlins every year on Christmas, before Christmas. That's a Christmas movie and a horror movie. Dude, it's the perfect. You can watch it twice a year. I've even got a wonderful little ornament of a Gremlins VHS tape. Thank you, Emily. But yeah, Christmas movies as a whole kind of blow, dude. So I'm done talking about them. They're taking up too much of my damn time. Watch Citizen Kane on Christmas. I don't know. No, It's a Wonderful Life. Just watch that every year, and you're good. And that's the thing. It's a Wonderful Life is barely a Christmas movie. It's got Christmas at the end, but I think because it's got a good message and it just so happens to have its like climax during Christmas, it makes it a Christmas movie, but whatever. Anyways, now I'm going to get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. The main thing that I want to talk about are the best movies of 2023 that I saw. My favorite movies of 2023. And it was a pretty big year. Let me be honest. It was a pretty dang good year. Pretty long year. Feels like a lot came out this year. You know what I'm saying? Can you believe that Avatar 2 came out this year? It's still this year. That feels like a 2022 type movie, you know? Maybe it was a 2022 movie. I don't know, dude. Maybe it was. I wrote it down for some reason, though, because I checked my Letterboxd and I watched it this year, but I thought I watched it opening day. Anyway, moving on, there are some pretty dang good movies this year, and I'm just going to name off a few and talk about them. If I have more to say about them, I'll talk about them more in depth. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem came out this year, and that was a big one for me. I was a big Ninja Turtles kid when I was younger, and I got to watch it on my birthday in the theater because it came out my birthday weekend. And my girlfriend did something very nice for me. She's the best. I've talked about her a lot in this episode. She deserves it. She took me to the theater on my birthday to go see it. And when we got there, all my friends and family were there, almost all of them. But it was so cool. We didn't rent out the whole theater. It just, there was just enough seats available on my birthday where, like, we had, like, 2 whole rows of people. It was so fun. I got the collectible popcorn bucket. I got a Raphael mask that came with the collectible popcorn bucket. I got the collectible cup. Man, it was so dang cool and so dang fun. Thank you, Emily. I really liked Mutant Mayhem. It's a different approach to the Turtles, but I'm not a fucking prick about being respectful to the source material. I like the comics of the Ninja Turtles. I like the 90s movies. Specifically, I love 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love that movie. Watched the hell out of it as a kid. Is Mutant Mayhem like the best, most accurate origin story for the Ninja Turtles in Master Splinter? No. But who the hell you care that much about the origin story of your, like, it's all got to be the same all the time? No, they did something new and interesting and fun. Shut the hell up. It's a fun movie. If you were critiquing it, if you were critiquing anything else, if you were critiquing like, oh, I didn't like the art style, or oh, I didn't like the voice actors, I didn't like the improvisation that they did, I didn't like the story beats, it felt too simple, the villain's motivations, well, if you were critiquing any of that, like, let's talk about it. But when you sit here and say, I didn't like how they changed the origin story for the Turtles and they made Master Splinter look weak and lame, it's like, shut up. Let them just be a movie separate of, these comics. It's the same fucking nerds that talk about, like, when MCU, the Marvel movies, change something about a character's origin story from the comics or do something different. It's like they throw a fit. And I'm like, who the hell cares? If the movie's good, then it's good. It does, and just so happens that none of the Marvel movies have been good recently, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. But yeah, Ninja Turtles is fun. The kids playing the Ninja Turtles are so great. I love Nicholas Cantu, the guy who voices Leonardo, and the other kids are, just as good, if not better at times. And they work so well together. I watched some special features for it. I watched Seth Rogen talk about how he saw the kids all interacting with each other, and he was like, this is what the movie needs to be. He puts them all in a booth, lets them play off each other, and you can really feel that in the movie. You can feel the camaraderie. They feel like little brothers. They feel like teenagers. And the art style is so cool and interesting and fun. They said that they wanted it to be reminiscent of like a child doodling in their journal, and that's kind of what it looks like. People's faces are all kind of screwed up. The turtles look kind of wonky, to be honest. It looks like little doodles. And oh my gosh, the soundtrack, it was like 90s hip-hop, like songs that should not be in a children's movie just because of some of the content of the songs, but that's of course censored for the movie itself. But great soundtrack, great animation, great voice acting, just all around pretty dang good movie. And I got to see it on my birthday with a lot of people that I love and care for. We ate at Red Lobster after. How can I not talk about Oppenheimer? I mean, oh my God. For those of you that don't know, I saw Oppenheimer twice the day it came out. Or actually, it was the Friday it came out. It was a very busy day for me. I also saw Barbie that night. We did the whole Barbenheimer, but I had a bit of a conflict. My friends wanted to see Oppenheimer at 2:30. My girlfriend couldn't be at the 2:30, but she wanted to go see it at 10:30 in the morning. So I got up. I went and saw Oppenheimer at 10:30 in the morning. It was about 3 hours, so it finished around 1:45, 1:50. Had a little bit of a break, went back into the theater at 2:30 to watch Oppenheimer again with my friends. Watched it for another 3 hours. Came out of the theater a different person. Went to eat dinner, went to a bar to kind of debrief and talk about Oppie. And then we went and saw Barbie in the evening. It was a great, fun day at the theaters. But Oppenheimer, man, I feel like I don't even know what to say about this movie. I've seen it 4 times now in theaters. The last time I saw it was a 70 millimeter IMAX screening that changed my life. Just floor to the ceiling high, 70 millimeter film print being projected. It was just an incredible experience. We were sitting a little close too, so it was like our whole lives were this movie, just completely invested and kind of thrown into the movie. And it's good to see the movie that times because there's a lot of talking and you kind of place everything better after the first few times. I'm actually really glad I watched it twice in a row the day I saw it, because the first time I kind of got it and it hit me and I was like, oh my God, this is a really good movie. And then the second time I watched it, I remembered characters. I started learning their names and, learning certain people's motivations, and other scenes I started interpreting a different way with the context of having already seen the movie. And I was like, oh yeah, this actually really works like incredibly well and is a really scary movie. Oh my God. The scene where he's giving the speech to all the kids in the gymnasium and the sound goes out and he's just staring like everything is wrong, right after they bomb Japan, and he doesn't know how to live with himself. And he's sitting there and he starts hallucinating about the bomb dropping in this room and just blowing the skin off of these kids clapping for him. And it's quite horrifying. And the ending is very haunting and scary and makes me not happy. But it's a really great movie. Oh my God, the performances, literally everybody in this movie is giving it their all. Favorites of mine are Josh Hartnett. He's a quite good actor. He was in the most recent season of Black Mirror. He was in that space episode with Aaron Paul. But he was also in this movie I watched this year called The Faculty. It's an older movie, but he's quite a good actor, and I'm glad to see him back in big roles. Cillian's great. Cillian Murphy is fantastic. He's really committed to it. And Man, another favorite of mine is that prosecutor. I forget his name, but the angry white guy who screams at Killian in that tiny little room. I watched the Planet of the Apes prequel trilogy for the first time this year, and this prosecutor guy is in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I want to say his name is Richard or something. But he is in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which is the best Planet of the Apes movie. And he's incredible in that. And he's incredible anytime I see him. He's also in that Baz Luhrmann Great Gatsby, I believe. He's the guy that kills Gatsby. Spoilers! But he's great in that. Can you get comfortable, Cat? What is wrong with you? But yeah, Oppenheimer, like, probably my favorite of the year. I don't know. I saw it so many times. I love it to death. I cry watching it. It's so good. We talk about a couple others I saw. Okay, the other film that I watched 4 times in theaters this year, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. What a fun, great film. I saw it having not seen any of the other Mission Impossibles ever with my friends who also had never seen any of the other Mission Impossibles, and we were like, it could be fun. Let's go see it. You know, we've got AMC Stubs A-List, so we get 3 free movies every week for $20 a month. But yeah, we were like, let's check out this Tom Cruise movie. I had seen the previews during Avatar 2 of him jumping the bike. It was kind of the behind-the-scenes footage of him jumping the bike over the cliff, and I was like, damn. Impressive. I think it's crazy what Tom Cruise does to his body for cinema, but I'm here for it. There's a damn cat hair on my mic. I saw that movie so many times. It is such an easy watch. Probably the easiest movie to watch ever. I mean, it's pretty long, I guess, but I really don't care about length in movies. It has never really affected me unless the movie's bad. I guess I only watch good long movies, but yeah, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 is like 2.5 hours, a little longer, 2.5 hours. Oppenheimer's like 3 hours. Had no problem with either of those movies this year. People complaining about runtime. Killers of the Flower Moon, 3.5 hours. Had no problem, dude. All great movies, and if a movie's great, I have no problem sitting through it. I don't know why these babies have a problem sitting through a 3-hour movie. Just watch the damn movie. I believe in watching the movie all in one. I don't like to break movies up and watch them at different times in the day or on different days. Like, I can't imagine doing that. Watching the first half of a movie one day and then the second half of the movie the next day, like, you are not getting that full movie's experience. You have no say in any of the pacing issues with the movie because you didn't experience the whole movie. You watched it in half. You can tell me what you like about the first half and what you like about the second half, but you cannot talk to me about that movie as a whole because you did not experience it as a movie as a whole. A movie is edited in such a meticulous way to where everything flows into one, and to break it up by yourself and watch it in those pieces, you are not watching the movie as it is intended. That's why there was so much hubbub around Killers of the Flower Moon. There were some local theaters making their own intermission and implementing a 10-minute intermission in the middle of Killers of the Flower Moon. And hey, you want to go pee during Killers of the Flower Moon? Okay, go pee. But, I mean, you've got to watch that fucking movie as is to the best of your ability. If you're at home, pause it, go pee, and finish it. That's fine. But 10-minute intermission, like turning the lights on, completely breaking yourself from the immersion of the movie. Like, movies are experiences, especially at the cinema. You want to be a part of that movie. That needs to be an experience for you. And to completely break you out of that for 10 minutes and then go back to it, it's a slap in the face to the editors of the movie, directors of them, everyone involved with the movie, and you should be ashamed. Anyway, getting off my long movie high horse, let's move on from Mission Impossible. Didn't really talk about it that much. It's great. The stunts are great. It's so easy to watch. It's so fun. It's so camp. Camp. People say camp all the time. It's sincere, you know? Like, we're going to be a Mission Impossible movie, and some elements that other movies might make into jokes or think is silly, it is just taking it 100% serious, and I respect the hell out of it. If a Marvel movie did, this message will self-destruct in 30 seconds, they would make some fucking fart poop joke out of it or something. I don't know. Like, the movie takes it sincere, like it is respecting the roots of the franchise and just treating it like a Mission Impossible movie. You're there to experience scale and stunts and Tom Cruise, and you get all of that in strides for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, and you should see it as many times as you can before Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2, which is coming, I believe, in 2025, maybe 2024. I fucking hope it's coming out in 2024. But anyways, this paper's upside down now. But Killers of the Flower Moon, I kind of touched on it a little bit when we were just talking about long movies. Killers of the Flower Moon, amazing. Made by the great Martin Scorsese. One of the best to ever do it. Probably still my favorite filmmaker to date. I love what he does, and this movie was quite different than any of his other movies you might be familiar with. It feels, oddly enough, very similar to Irishman to me, in the sense that they are both of those movies are very planted in the historic timeline that they're in. You can feel the history around these characters, like the time period and what's going on around them. You can feel that in the movies. Like The Irishman, this little mob plot is going on with Jimmy Hoffa, but at the same time, you know, JFK is being assassinated. And I don't know, it's just, they're also both pretty somber movies, I guess. Irishman and Killers of the Flower Moon. And I've seen people say this online, but both Irishman and Killers of the Flower Moon are almost like kind of Martin Scorsese being self-reflective of the mob flicks that he's made in the past, of like The Goodfellas, The Casinos, The Mean Streets, because they're very held back. The Wolf of Wall Streets in his life. These last two movies he's made are very, very held back, and you know, kind of, I don't even know what they mean specifically, but they're, let's just say, the main characters that are doing these bad things. I've never thought that Goodfellas or Casino were glorifying, or Wolf of Wall Street were glorifying the lifestyle. I think it's pretty clear that Scorsese is criticizing them and within the movie. But Irishman and Killers of the Flower Moon, Scorsese is like putting his foot down and like, no, these guys are fucking losers that are going to die alone. And they will never truly pay the price for what they did. At least with Frank Sheeran, like in The Irishman, we see his very sad, isolated life that he's created for himself. The last shot of The Irishman still haunts me. It's just like, look what he fucking did to himself with this life. Like, this guy did this. And he's not necessarily paying for it through, you know, going to jail. Like, he went to jail, but he's in a retirement home. He's having to deal with it himself in his own head. And Killers of the Flower Moon, if you have not seen it, Martin Scorsese literally comes up to the camera with a microphone and is like, these people died eventually, and this horrible atrocity that happened to them was never mentioned. And essentially being like, we did this, we were a part of this, and it's, kind of just like other nasty parts of history. We're just washing over it and not talking about it. And here we are. And they're lying dead. And these people that did this to them got to retire to a trailer park and live till they were fucking 87 years old. And these people suffered and nothing has happened. And we're here. And this shit happened, and it's not as big of a deal as it should be or as it should have been. And in the least subtle way, Martin Scorsese just comes to the camera and says all that directly to you, the audience. And I love the little ending of Killers of the Flower Moon. If you haven't seen it, go see it. This isn't really a spoiler, but it's like they do a little wrap-up thing at the end of the movie, and I think it's fantastic because it just hits the nail on the head of like this culture we've created of profiting and just kind of, it's really icky the way that we turn these horrible tragedies into entertainment. And I think that in itself, that scene saying that is a criticism of himself, like turning these horrible people in his mob films, like Goodfellas is based on a real guy, Irishman's based on a real guy, like, and we turn these horrible stories of like things that happen to people, and we turn them into entertainment to be consumed, content almost, like that's the big word nowadays. Sponsored by Lucky Strike. That's what that whole ending's about. Anyway, I'm a bit drunk and not at my best, not having my best thoughts, but I love those movies. Let's talk a little bit about some horror that came out this year that I really like. Thanksgiving, Infinity Pool, and Evil Dead Rise. I saw Infinity Pool in theaters by myself. I had a great time. I don't remember much about it at this point in my life, but some really weird shit happens. And I liked it. I thought it was not just weird for weird's sake. I think it was interesting. It had some cool shit. And the performances were good. Alexander Skarsgård and Mia Goth. I also really like the story. I'm not sure it is as successful in pulling off what it wants to in regards to like what it's saying. I think it's like trying to say something but kind of stumbles towards the end. But yeah, it's fun. Thanksgiving is just fantastic. It's a perfect slasher. It's blending all these different elements of the slasher genre from different eras of the slashers and just kind of making the perfect little slasher. It's aware of what it's doing, but it's also not critiquing the tropes. Like, I feel like that is so annoying nowadays. Like, doing a trope in your movie and then making fun of it and critiquing it, having some fucking meta humor. If you're gonna fucking do a trope about like masked killer, plot twist, whatever, like whatever you do, lean into it, man. Like, know that you're doing it and fucking do it. Fucking deliver. He wanted to make a slasher with fun kills and reminiscent of all the other slashers that we love, like have the masked killer revealed later, have these amazing kills, have gory kills, more reminiscent of the later 90s and early 2000s slashers, like when stuff really started getting gory. And I don't know, just lean into, like, do what you love. And Eli Roth loves horror. He loves slashers. And he fucking hit it out of the park, man. Evil Dead Rise, that also came out this year apparently. I saw that. It's good. I like it, I guess. Haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters. I haven't really felt super inclined to it. I'm not in love with this trend of Evil Dead now becoming, Bruce Campbell says it's going to become a franchise where they pop out an Evil Dead movie every year, 2 years. Like, All right, man. It's not the same without Ash Williams, but also don't bring him back. Don't bring Ash back. He's, there are some people that are like, I'd love to see Ash back. Like, Ash Evil Dead's fun, but Ash versus the Evil Dead, he's got two other characters with him that become pretty well established and are younger than him, and put them in a movie? Okay, maybe that's fun. I just don't know if I'm in love with, let's get a new cast of characters and then just do Evil Dead again in a different place, like with Evil Dead Rise. Thankfully, the filmmaker Lee Cronin is a creative dude who had some sort of vision for this, and it does look different than any of the Evil Dead movies. It has its own look and feel to it, which is nice, but at the end of the day, it's about people finding an evil book and then turning into demons and mostly dying. Bada bing, bada boom, you got an Evil Dead movie. And if Bruce Campbell's going to make one of those, produce one of those every 2 years with Sam Raimi, I don't know how long that's going to be good or fun. I saw Anatomy of a Fall this year, which is really good. It's essentially a courtroom drama of this French woman who may or may not have killed her husband. Just go see it. It's a lot of talking, and you got to read subtitles sometimes, but fucking cry about it. It's a good-ass movie. I like courtroom drama. I like the kind of stuff that it presents. I really like the kind of questions it brings of, like, do your bad moments, do your worst moments in a relationship define you? Should they define you? What kind of insight do they bring into the, into your relationships? It is it's a very intimate movie, and I really, really, really liked it. More than I thought I would. Just a couple more to talk about from this year. I just saw Iron Claw a week or two ago. The Iron Claw. That was so good. One of the best looking movies that I had seen this year. Just fucking gorgeous looking for no reason. At times it just had these wonderful shots. But it's The Iron Claw is a movie about these wrestling brothers in Texas. And, I'm here in Texas. So it held a little special in my heart, especially after I heard that they lived in Denton, Texas. And that's where I went to college. So it was fun seeing that. And we went with my girlfriend's mom, who was a kid when these Von Erich wrestling brothers were a big deal. And she watched them every Saturday night. So it was fun going in with someone who knew these guys. It's based on a true story, and what a story too. Just unreal. Like, if this happened in a movie where it wasn't based on a true story, I would be like, okay, you're doing a little too much. Like, this is not believable. You are doing way too much. This is too crazy. But man, bring your tissues. It really got me at the end. Just a really lovely, awful thing that happened. But it gives you a little kiss at the end, if you know what I mean. It just gives you a little something hopeful. The Holdovers. Oh, what a Christmas classic. Instant Christmas classic, The Holdovers. I will probably be trying to watch this every year now. Paul Giamatti, the Alexander Payne movie. Paul Giamatti is absolutely fantastic. There's also this woman and this young boy that lead in the movie with him, and they are both incredible. And this Dominic kid, the lead, it's his first movie he's ever been in, and he's going toe-to-toe with Paul Giamatti, one of the best out there. And he does great. And so if you haven't seen The Holdovers, man, the Blu-ray comes out January 2nd. It's on video on demand for you to buy and rent right now. I'm not sponsored by The Holdovers, but goddamn, I don't have to be. It's just that good. If you're wanting to get in a Christmas mood, it's great. It's about this professor played by Paul Giamatti. He's kind of a loser, alcoholic, loves his job a little too much of teaching at this private school. And he has been tricked into being on holdover duty, meaning that he's got to watch over the kids that have nowhere to go over Christmas break. And he kind of creates this connection with one of the kids that he doesn't really want to make, but his heart is warmed a little bit. A little bit of a Grinch story, I guess. But yeah, it's so good. And lastly, I guess I'll talk about this. I just saw this movie like literally tonight. Anyone But You, the Glenn Powell, Sydney Sweeney rom-com that supposedly made Glenn Powell break up with his girlfriend in real life because he cheated on her with Sydney Sweeney while they were filming in Sydney, Australia. No, that's a mouthful, but yeah, Anyone But You. It's fun, I guess. It's essentially just Much Ado About Nothing. It's a modern retelling. They're pretending to be in a relationship because they both have people at this wedding that they want either to leave them alone or that they want to be with. And it's a fun little premise that you've seen a million times, but I think Glenn Powell is so charming, and I say this to everyone that asks me about him. Ever since I watched that movie, Set It Up, I don't think I'd ever seen him in anything. I know he was in Top Gun Maverick a few years ago, but I saw Set It Up on Netflix with him and Zoe Deutsch, and I fell in love. He was just delightful, to be honest. He's not necessarily playing at realism in his performances, but he's very good at what he does, and he's charming as hell. He's kind of just playing a type, like he's kind of the same person in Set It Up than he is in Anyone But You, but man, he's so fun to watch, and he's without being annoying. He's not making, his quips or whatever don't annoy me as much as other actors. I think that's very special. He's got a certain likability to him, and I like that. And guys, that's kind of my 2023 wrap up. I guess I've talked about everything that I've seen. If there's anything you have seen this year that came out that I haven't seen, comment down below. Let me know. Maybe I have seen it and I just didn't feel like talking about it today, but I'll respond. I'll reply to you. Yeah, that's my 2023 in movies. I don't really have much else to talk about. This was fun. I have one small segment that I want to do real quick before we end, but I do have some kitties on me right now. If you've been watching the video, I've got two little kitties in my lap, but let me see if I can grab this. Okay, I wanted to do holiday gifts. I just wanted to show you guys a couple of movies that I got for Christmas. The people that know me know that I love movies. I'm Chimp Guy Movie Guy after all. And for Christmas, I got a couple movies. Right here, I got a 4K Blu-ray Steelbook of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And you guys heard me talk about how much I love this movie. Here it is in its full glory. I can't wait to watch the special features. I can't wait to rewatch the 4K. Thank you, Mom, for that gift. That was very sweet. And Emily got me this, my girlfriend. I did not know she was going to get me this, but the Criterion Collection had a sale in November. I sadly did not buy anything. I was not, financially available enough to spend money on their expensive Blu-rays. So I did not end up buying this for myself, but my girlfriend bought it for me during the sale. It is the Martin Scorsese Mean Streets Criterion 4K. The last time I watched Mean Streets was on a DVD that I bought of Mean Streets because I never seen a Blu-ray of it. I have a DVD of Mean Streets, and now I have a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray of Mean Streets. It's so incredible, and I can't wait to watch the special features on it as well. Guys, that's it. We've done it. We've gotten through another episode of whatever the hell the show is. Let's call it Monkey Movie Club. Why not? Maybe I'll come up with a new name. Comment a name down below. Just trying to get some engagement. Should I call this something else if I'm not going to talk about the club that much, or is it a good enough name? What are we doing here? The Monkey Movie Podcast. I don't want to have podcast in the name. That's so tacky, cliche of podcasts to just have podcast in the name, like whatever. And I also don't want to do the Joe Rogan Experience, because it's not a podcast, it's an experience. Fuck off, Joe. I'll fucking eat your brains and become stronger than you, because I'll have your brains and I'll know your workout routine. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening. If you listened, thank you for watching. If you watched, I am Chimp Guy Movie Guy, signing off. Bye. Say bye, kitties.